If Walmart are lowering their prices every day, how come nothing in the store is for free yet? Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki G. I'm here to inform, entertain, and delight your ear holes with all things off-road for the next 10 minutes or so. Why 10 minutes? I'm running out of shtick. Let me see. Let's pull one that I used before. That's how long it takes my Hot Pockets to be done. To cool down so they're nice and cold on the outside and hot as the sun on the inside. It's the way I like them. I think that's the way they were designed to be. I'd like to remind everybody you can listen to the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Overcast, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher. And I never heard of any of those, and I don't listen to any of those. Of course, you could always listen to this on Anchor, our fine host, but never on iHeartRadio or Pandora. They're just bitches about it. You can contact the 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast at 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. That's 10minuteoffroad@gmail.com. Or leave a comment on our YouTube video. And I promise you I will ignore your comments. Nobody ever contacts me. Well, I do get contacted about my car warranty quite a bit. But anyhow, that's a podcast for a different time. You can follow 10-Minute Off-Road Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. But never TikTok. TikTok is the tool of the devil. And, I haven't been following Insta or Twitter too much lately either. Or any of the other social media platforms. To be honest with you. I do it on my own personal account, but I don't really work the show on its own social media accounts. And that's my fault. I need to hire a 10-year-old girl to do my social media for me. But that's a podcast for another day. So that's all the legal boilerplate mumbo jumbo out of the way. Let's get onto the show. This week I want to talk about regearing. I just regeared my Jeep. I was up to 33-inch tires, and I have my XJ is running the AW4 automatic, and with the 355 gears in the Chrysler 8 1/4 and a Dana 30 up front. And when I went to the larger tires, I noticed, I don't know how to say it politely, but it had no balls on the highway. On the highway, it had no balls. Slight incline would drag it down. It was constantly kicking into passing gear. I couldn't stand it. It was a nightmare to drive this thing anywhere to wheel. I drive it around town all the time, and I drive it on the back roads to go wheel, which that kind of, added an extra hour to your trip to go wheel. We're already driving, 2.5, 3 hours to get somewhere, and then meandering through some backcountry roads. And then when you're done wheeling, you just want to go home. It's nice to be able to get on the highway and go. So regearing was in order. I did a lot of research on it. I've been thinking about it for years. And decided to go with 410 on 33s. Now, I could have gone with some different gears, some higher gears. But 410 puts me on 33-inch tires right in the middle of the power range that I want to be. Now, if I ever go with larger tires, I'm going to have to probably regear again, but I really don't think I'm going to go with larger than 33-inch tires on my stock axles. Like I said, I got an 8 1/4 in the back and a Dana 30 in the front, and they're pretty good axles, but I didn't do any high-performance upgrades to them, so to speak. I didn't truss them, and they're just... I don't have chromoly axles, and I do have lockers front and back. Other than that, I don't think I'm going to go with bigger tires. I think these axles are at the max of what they should have. If I would go bigger tires, I think I'm going to have to get bigger axles. So, 410 does me good. And I got to tell you, it's night and day. I get on the highway, I can cruise 70 miles an hour. It handles just like it's like a vehicle's supposed to handle. And I will tell you that I didn't gear it myself. I took it to a shop. There is a lot of precision measurements that need to be done that I do not have the patience for, or the skill, or the time. So I took it to a shop. One of the few rare times I've took my Jeep to a shop. And I don't want to mention the name of the shop because I'm not 100% sold on them. They did a good job and they were okay, but I didn't get that warm, fuzzy feeling from them. So I'm not quite sure I want to endorse them yet. And if you go and get your vehicle regeared from them and then you have a bad experience, and I apologize for not warning you, but I didn't have a bad experience. They did what they said they were going to do. They were upfront about the price. They did have to up the price by an hour of labor from some unforeseen stuff that they ran across that I really can't get a handle on what they did, but why they needed the extra hour of labor. But I didn't argue with it because it really wasn't that much, and they had my Jeep. I wanted to get it back. I didn't want to piss them off and let them do a bad job, so I paid it. But I couldn't really get a definitive answer on why the labor. They said he had to remove the carrier, and so you have to remove the carrier anyhow to regear it, so I don't see what that is. I have a Spartan locker in the front. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Like I said, he was kind of talking in circles trying to stump me. I don't know if he knew that I know not a whole lot, but I know quite a bit about what he's talking about. And it just didn't make sense to me. And when I tried to get clarification, he just started speaking a little faster. And I'm not going to argue with him over an hour of labor. But I think because of that, I didn't get the warm, fuzzy feeling from him that I was hoping to get and expecting to get. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to bring anything else to them for a while until I figure out what was going on. And I'm not going to endorse them, but it wasn't that bad of an experience. Plus, they're not paying for advertisement, so I'm not giving them advertisement. The 410 gears worked great. I will say my locker in the front is making a lot of noise. Well, not a lot of noise, but it's making noise. And when I took it back to them after 500 miles, they put 500 miles on it, they'll bring it back, change the oil. And so when I brought it back to them, I said, my locker's making noise. Can you good inspection and make sure everything's copacetic? And that's another thing I didn't like. When I brought the Jeep back for them to change the brake-in oil and inspect it, they charged me for it. It should have been included in the price of the whole total thing, but they charged me $100 to change the oil in the axles and inspect it, which I thought was pricey. But like I said, they had me over a barrel. I already agreed to the work, so yeah, I didn't get the warm fuzzies from them. And I said that 1,000 times. I'll say it again. Did not get the warm fuzzies. Plus, I overheard a conversation. The guy was talking on a phone to an owner of a vehicle, and they had to upcharge him on some labor. I just think they were just like scamming people. They quote you a low price to get you in there, and then make up the difference. That's what I think. But anyhow, back to the original story. Rear gearing is a dream. If you put larger tires on your vehicle and you're having some issues with it on the highway, maintaining speed or just basic ballless, regear it. Gas mileage, I've noticed a little bit, about not quite a mile per gallon better with the regear. And that's probably mainly because it's not hunting for a gear. It's not slapping down in the overdrive or passing gear like it used to. On the trails, I didn't really notice anything different. I don't wheel with a heavy foot, so it's kind of hard to quite place it. And a lot of times, if I'm going over an obstacle or a steep incline, I'm in low gear, low and slow. So I didn't really notice any difference wheeling, just mostly on the highway. I really think I have my Jeep right where I like it. I think I'm done with the modifications on it. I'm just going to wheel the snot out of it and enjoy it. I think the build is done. I'm going to stick a pin in it and call it done. Alright, so I rambled on long enough. I'm at the 14-minute mark, and by the time I edit this down, it'll probably be hopefully 10 minutes, but it'll be right close to 10 minutes. If I keep babbling on like this, I'll make it. But anyhow, until next time, this is Nicky G saying, wheel what you got and be happy.